Sydney-based tradie Dane Ellevsen set up his electrical business 5 years ago. He loves being his own boss, but he wants to step up his game and expand the business.
Dane, I'm Alex from Snap. How you going?
Very nice to meet you, mate. Thank you for coming to site.
No, that's all right. Thanks for having me out here.
Alex Cohen is from Snap Norwest and has come along to provide advice on how Dane could better market his business. That's electrical.
So tell me a little bit more about your business, Dane.
So basically we're a small family-sized business. There's 4 of us running around the eastern suburbs and the northern beaches, and we work predominantly in light commercial and domestic places.
Setting up the business has been a labour of love for Dane, but it took him a little while to figure out what he wanted to do.
Well, I did many jobs previously. I did photography, landscaping, I did everything. Builders, labouring, like retail.
Okay.
Got to 21 and I thought, I need to get a trade under my belt because that's going to be with me forever. I finished my apprenticeship and basically didn't really want to work for anyone else. We've been operating for 5 years now, and I just love working with my clients, letting jobs evolve along the way, having a serious input in the whole creative sort of side as well. It's funny, everything is all come in and collated into this job. Like, when I was a roofer, I sort of learned about how to sort of work with silicon, and then other jobs I learned how to deal with people, the retail managing and dealing with clients. So it's, with this job, running a business, it's all sort of fallen into place. It's nice.
At the moment, Dane relies mostly on word of mouth to attract new clients. That's a positive indication. He's had a lot of happy customers, but there is an easier way.
And how do you want to stand out from your competitors?
Well, we've got the youths driving around, but an online presence would be ideal because everyone's searching the web all day, every day. And without that, I think we're missing out on a lot.
Tell me a little bit about your future plans. Where would you want to see yourself, say, in the next year?
In a year's time, I'd love to have 3 or 4 more guys. Okay. But in order to do that, we have to have more jobs. Absolutely. To create more work for the guys.
Yep.
So after our chat, how do you think we could best market ourselves?
So look, what we'd do with a customer in your situation, Dane, is we'd actually take a step back and have a look at the overall marketing objectives that you're trying to do and take your brand through an identity checklist as well, because quite often what we can find is customers that get out there and develop a brand for themselves and an identity, it may not be exactly what the audience is expecting to see. So through this branding stage that we would step you through, we'd have a look at what your strengths are, what perhaps your weaknesses are, and your target customer and your ideal consumer. So I saw that you have a Facebook page active and you've got some great content on there as well. But what I'd suggest to do from here would be to develop a website, because so many consumers now are searching the web in need of that information to find the best trade, the most reputable, and what services they can actually offer. So we'd suggest to develop that website and, you know, once again, tie in your branding so you've got a consistent look and feel across all your different marketing platforms. And from there, you can start to develop a customer base, and from there, you can start to market to that customer base as well.
Dane and his team drive around Sydney in their branded utes, but apart from that, there's nothing else to capture the attention of potential clients.
I would say let's make the most of that available real estate that's out the front of the job site here and get some signage up and have a call to action as well, so that we can start sending customers from the street and seeing the job site onto your website, and they can find out more details about you and the company and what you stand for.
If Dane does get an inquiry, the next step would most likely be to draw up a quote.
Okay, so often out there in the marketplace, when you speak to these customers and you get the opportunity to put your quote through, you might be competing against 2, 3, 4 other competitors. So you really need to make yourself stand out and have some kind of differentiation there. So what we'd suggest is to use your brand and your corporate identity, and then work that into a professionally designed document that can be edited by you to suit different customers. So every time you send that quote out, they receive a beautifully designed That's Electrical branded proposal that has your details on it, and we can even include in that, you know, an e-publication that has a digital version of all your products and offerings and services and previous work and everything else, so that that customer can really have a detailed insight into what That's Electrical stands for.
So the top 3 tips for Dane to market his business better. Number 1, develop a website. When people are searching online for the best tradespeople in Sydney, Dane should be among them. The second step is signage. Dane can pop his logo outside each job site, sending customers from the street to the website. And if they do get in touch, Alex suggests Dane work his business logo into a professionally designed document to be sent out with every single quote.